Hello, it's me, French Ted, and we are here for episode number 39 of our AEW TEW series. And we are in the final week of November. Christmas is on the horizon, and I'm very excited for it. As in game, not actual Christmas, because this comes out in the middle of summer. But I'm also excited for Christmas, you know, who isn't? Anyways, we've gone off track. We have a backstage incident here at Dynamite. It's our usual Dynamite Collision episode. Big matches happening this week. I'm just taking a look at the card that I've got booked, and I'm quite happy with it. Obviously, last week we had Jay White, who has since moved, you could say, to Collision in order to pursue the World Heavyweight Championship and defeating Adam Page's amigo in that match, and then being challenged by PAC. So we're going to have to see what unfolds there. But first, we are at Dynamite. Let's take a look at our backstage incident, which involves Paige Van Zandt and Sting, our least favourite person. Paige Van Zandt was brought before the wrestlers' court, accused of failing to pick up her share of the tab, so that the judge Sting found her guilty and made her pay the full cost and reimburse her travel partners. Wow. She's got the driven personality, but she couldn't pay for the driving. Get it? Yeah, Sting, just being his regular old self, had a positive impact on Paige, so there is that. Yeah, let's just move straight into Dynamite, where we have two title matches tonight. Very exciting. One of them obviously being Miro taking on El Generico, which was confirmed for last week. So that will be our main event tonight. But I'm just going to stop talking. Let's head straight into Dynamite. And here we are for the pre-show. We've got 3 pre-show matches. The first, Ethan Page getting a win over Dustin Rhodes with the spinning facebuster 59 rated match. Not much to say about this, but Ethan and Dustin have good chemistry. So that's nice. And Ethan with a 62, which is pretty good. Someone that I never use. Great character in real life. I just don't really have anything for him right now. So pre-show it is. Following this, we've got some tag team action with one of our new teams, the Hate Crew, Jade Cargill and Lena, as she goes by now. And they're facing off against Billy Starks and Sky Blue, aka Billy and Blue. And in a match that had decent reaction of the crowd but subpar wrestling, the Hate Crew defeated Billy Starks and Sky Blue when Jade Cargill wins with the Jaded. Jade with a 42, Lena with a 41, not bad. Billy Starks leading the line with a 49, and Sky Blue is nursing an injury, so her ability was affected a little bit. And Lena was penalised for being in extremely poor form, so let's hope we can turn that around. 46 rating overall, fair enough. And our final pre-show match is another debut, or 2 debuts, I think, at least. In a pre-show bout that had decent wrestling but not much heat, Shayna Baszler defeats Rio Mizunami in 10:38 with the armbar. Shayna with a 58, Rio with a 48. Shayna's initial gimmick is great, Rio's is great, perfect. 58 rating match, not bad at all. But that takes us to our main show, and we open with a title match. It is Takeshita and High Five, our new, recently crowned AEW World Trios Champions, taking on a kind of makeshift team of Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Matt Hardy, also known as Undisputed and Matt Hardy. Let's see what happens there. Oh, 72, that's not bad. Especially because these ratings are poor. In a decent match, Konosuke Takeshita and High Five defeat Matt Hardy and Undisputed in 20 minutes when Takeshita makes Roderick Strong submit. Wow, of all the people to lose. This is defense number 1 of their AEW World Trios title. And of course, Takeshita was head and shoulders above everyone else. Andretti with a 51, Darius with a 61, Takeshita with an 80, hey! Matt Hardy with a 41, Roderick Strong with a 69, hey! And Adam Cole, baby, with a 66. Still underperforming. Matt Hardy was off his game though. I mean, when is he on his game? Am I right? Okay, 72 is a good rating though, given those numbers, and it got the show to a strong start, so we will take that. Takeshita, High Five are celebrating in the ring when Bullet Club Gold come out. Obviously, Bullet Club Gold without Jay White, as he is on Collision, focusing on his own goals. And CM Punk, the interim leader of Bullet Club Gold, challenge Takeshita, Darius Martin, and Andretti to a match for their World Trios titles. And of course, they, nod, they accept, come on, we'll take on anyone. So it looks like we will be getting Bullet Club Gold against Takeshita and High Five in the future. But who is going to be in the trios match? There's 4 of them, 5 if you include Jay White as well, and obviously the 2 women in the Bullet Club Gold. So I don't know who's going to be in that, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually. 95 rated segment. It's CM Punk and on a mic. Of course, it's going to be great. Following this, though, we head backstage and we see Jake Roberts and Lance Archer talking to Drew. Will Ospreay would be here, but as always, Mans is in Japan because he likes Japan more than he likes us. And Jake Roberts just says that Drew could do big things if he aligns himself with Archer and Ospreay. Just think of, how easily the 3 of us could dominate AEW. And Drew's kind of just like, okay, all right, okay, yeah, sure. And Jake Roberts just says, think about it, as him and Archer head to the ring because Archer has a match up next. So it seems like everyone wants to work with Drew Galloway in some way, and why wouldn't you? He's a beefcake of a human. 78 rated segment, decent. But heading to the ring, as we know, is Lance Archer, and he is taking on Orange Cassidy. And in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Lance Archer gets the win. He defeats Orange Cassidy in 18 minutes with the blackout. Lance Archer with a 70, Orange Cassidy with a 63. Ron Killings doing some great work at ringside. Still there with Orange Cassidy. Do we have any negatives in this? It's going to be declining physical ability for both of them. Oh, Orange Cassidy is on the decline. Who'd have thought? Just a decent one-on-one match just to give Archer a bit more momentum. I guess he's great. I really like using Archer. Following this, though, we do head backstage and we meet up with CM Punk and the rest of Bullet Club Gold, minus Saraya. She's on the toilet. And CM Punk says that he will be in the trios match, of course, but to decide the other 2 members, he wants a little bit of friendly competition within Bullet Club. So he said he's spoken to Nigel McGuinness and Tony Khan, and next week we will have a 3-way match: Keith Lee versus Chris Bay versus Juice Robinson, and that match will decide who CM Punk's 2 partners are in their World Trios match. So CM Punk already making huge decisions as the interim Bullet Club Gold leader, making them fight each other. Obviously, looking at this, you say Keith Lee's probably the standout, but Chris Bay is a tricky boy, and you can never write off Juice Robinson. He's a bit of a loose cannon, so this should be a very interesting affair. CM Punk already making his stamp on Bullet Club Gold, so that will be a match next week, probably the main event of next week. Let's make it the main event of next week of Dynamite. 3-way match between Bullet Club Gold members Keith Lee, Chris Bay, and Juice Robinson. We head back to the ring now, where we get a nice little tag team match. 75, go on. You know what? These 2 are just week on week are getting better and better and better, and I'm so happy. So in a bout that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Aussie Open, get a win, and they defeat FTR in 14:53 when Carl Fletcher pins Dax Harwood with the Tombstone Piledriver. Mark Davis with a 78, Carl Fletcher with a 75, Cash with a 73, and Dax with an 80. This is a really, really good match. If there was a title on line in this, that would definitely bump it up. But Aussie Open getting a really big win against FTR. They've got to shoot up the tag team rankings. But obviously at the moment, that tag team championship is embroiled in a Lucha Brothers Golden Lovers rivalry. So best not to get involved in that just yet. But yeah, great win for Carl Fletcher and Mark Davis. Since they've come into AEW, they've just been flying high. Following this match, we go backstage and we see El Generico preparing for his main event match against Miro. And he just finds Brian, not the American Dragon. American Dragon's dead. He finds Brian and he just says, look, I know it was you under the American Dragon mask, and I appreciate everything you've done to help out El Generico. And El Generico was wondering if you wanted to continue helping out and be ringside tonight, because obviously the villain Miro and the android Alex Coughlin will outnumber me 2-1, and it would be great to have my sidekick back. And Brian, kind of like, sidekick. It's like, yeah, sure, I will be ringside tonight for you, El Generico. And he's like, great, and they high five, and El Generico runs off. So in the main event, we will have Brian Danielson ringside for Generico, just to make sure that there's no funny business on Miro's side. And I'm assuming Brie Garcia will tag along too. She always does. She always seems to just sneak in. But 78 rate segment, decent, sounds good. Let's move on, and we head back to the ring. And this is why we didn't see Saraya earlier. It's because she was getting ready for her match. She's going one-on-one with Jordynne Grace. I believe this is Jordynne Grace's in-ring debut on the main card. And in a decent match, she picks up the win. She defeats Saraya in 9 minutes with the fall from Grace. So Jordynne Grace picking up a big win on her debut on TV with a 54 performance, Saraya with a 55 performance, and a 58 overall. Nice, can't complain. These numbers are slowly getting a bit better, and we're working out who's good, who's not, etc. But yeah, we head backstage again. We're just yo-yoing to the ring, out of the ring, and it's just AJ Mendes just talking to Tony Schiavone. He's just like, hey AJ, how's life? She's like, yeah, it's good, Tony. And she's just saying, I'm just a little bit impatient. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I haven't defended my title in like a week, and I as a champion, I feel like I should be defending my title more often. So I wonder who's going to turn up and be my next opponent. I want some competition, Tony. And he's like, I don't make the rules, but, we can always put a word in with the other Tony. And she's like, oh, okay. So, AJ Mendes showing a little kind of ditzy side, but kind of to get her own way, because now Tony Schiavone is going to hit up Nigel and Tony for her and see if he can get some kind of match made up for her. So, AJ wanting to defend her title as often as possible, which is great. This now takes us to our main event. Miro against El Generico for the AEW TNT Championship. Who's your money on? Let me know. Let's find out. 81. Oh, not bad. In a superb match, El Generico defeats Miro in 21 minutes with the Brain Buster. So that means that Miro's villainous reign as TNT champion is over, and El Generico is our new AEW TNT champion. Looking at the performance, Miro had probably the best performance of his career with an 84, Generico with a 75, and they've got pretty good chemistry. Awesome. This might not be the end of Generico and Miro because of that alone. But Generico wins, celebrates with Brian and Brie, and confetti, runs into the crowd, does his crazy stuff, and he has a belt around his waist. Not his usual superhero utility belt, a championship belt, and obviously Miro is not happy, and I'm sure this won't be the last we see of Miro and the TNT title chase. But that does end our show. We do actually cut to the post-show segments where Daniel Garcia, I don't know why it says continues because he hasn't started one, but Daniel Garcia confirms that he will start doing some open challenges from next week onwards. He wants to defend his title. He went through the tournament, proved that he's the best light heavyweight in the division. So he's like, why not? I can just keep proving myself by beating everyone. So yeah, next week, open challenge. Anyone can answer. I'll see you there. So that's an exciting little thing. We love having Daniel Garcia in matches because his numbers recently have been insane. And why wouldn't we want him on the card when he's producing numbers like that? But let's end the show and see how we did. 82. Decent. I will take it. Decent little card. Nothing too crazy happened here from what I can see. I mean, we'll say that. We've got new champions. And we've also got new number one contenders for Takeshita and High Five. But who will be in the Bullet Club Gold corner? It will obviously be a CM Punk, but who will the other two members be? Let me know in the comment section who you think it'll be, and we will find out in the next episode. But that's Dynamite done. Let's jump over to the other side and see what Collision are up to. I'll see you there. Okay, and we are here for Collision, And just before we jump in, I took a look at our popularity, and we are 77 in like 4 regions of America. One of them isn't Southeast, which is where we are based, which is why, not that I've been making a point, but the last couple of weeks we've been in the Southeast region because we need that to be 77 plus, I think, 4 other regions to then go from medium to big. And I think if that happens, we might become the #1 company in the world. So I'm just going to stay in the Southeast until we get Southeast to 77. And I think we then go big. If we do, obviously, I'll highlight it in the show. But just wanted to let you guys know how close we are. But that means that all of our shows need to be above 77. So yeah, we just need to kill it week in, week out. And I'm sure we can. And this is going to be another great show. We have got PAC in the opening match. We've also got Hook tonight at some point. And our main event tonight is going to be Jamie Hayter getting her hands on Demi Bennett. So that should be a tasty women's main event, and I'm very much excited for that. Obviously there's other things happening, but we'll come across them as and when. But starting in the pre-show, we have got our tag team, the Magical Sugar Rabbits of Yuki Sakazaki and Mizuki. There we go. It was in my head, but it wouldn't come out, and then I had to read it here. Against the Renegade Twins. So in a pre-show that had subpar wrestling but little heat, the Magical Sugar Rabbits, of course, they got the win. They are stars. And Mizuki pinned with her cutie special. Mizuki got a 55, Yuka with a 67, and then the Renegade Twins are just here to job, let's be honest. 57 overall, not bad. Mizuki, I want to get her in more matches because she is a star, as is Yuka Sakazaki. Mostly I've had her lose, but that's just because she's consistent. So if we want to elevate anyone, she's a great person to, have lose. But yeah, too much time on this opening match. Let's head to our next pre-show match, which I think is our last one. And it is Calvin Tankman taking on Malachi Black. And in 11 minutes, Calvin Tankman gets the win with the Tankman driver. Calvin with a 66 and Malachi with a 69. Hui, averaging to a 68. Decent. But let's head straight into the main show where we open with PAC facing off against Lio Rush. 81, nice. I knew this would be a good one. And in about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. PAC gets the win, of course he does, by making Lio Rush tap out with a brutalizer. PAC with an 83, Lio with a 70, and got the show off to a great start, which is what we want. 81 overall, love it. Post-match though, PAC is obviously in the ring, not celebrating because it's PAC, and Jay White comes out. He congratulates PAC and says, well done for a hard-fought win. You interrupted me last week, so I thought I'd return the favour and interrupt you. But I've actually got news. I've been talking to Nigel and Tony and whoever else I need to, and it has been confirmed. Next week, the main event of Collision will be the Bastard PAC facing off against Switchblade Bang Bang Club leader Jay White, and the winner will face Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So PAC, rest up, get some ice on those shoulders. I'll see you next week. So that is the main event for next week. Jay White, PAC. It should be a very tasty one. 84 rate segment, decent, can't go wrong with that. Let's continue with the show where we've got some tag team action. It's 2 members of La Facción, Andrade and Rouge, the original members, facing off against the Legion of Pain, Dinsa and Selmani. And there's a lot happening in this one. 76 though, whoa. In about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Andrade and Rouge get the win in 1948 when Rouge pins Dinsa with the La Lanza. But they weren't alone. It looks like every member of the Combat Club, except John Moxley, who's been absent for a little while, came in and they attacked Dinsa and Selmani. So yeah, you can see here, you got the whole list here. So I had a lot of interference. Claudio, Wheeler, Zack Sabre Jr. all attacked Dinsa. Also, the 3 of them attacked Selmani. Looking at the numbers here, Rouge got a 73, Andrade with an 80, Selmani with a 67, Dinsa with a 63. They got their tag team bonus, which is great, and the Combat Club storyline advances because they got involved and ruined the match for Legion of Pain. So, this rivalry definitely isn't over yet. Following this match, though, we've got a little interview with Jamie Hayter, and she says that she's looking forward to officially welcoming Demi to AEW and to teach her that she can't just walk in and dominate, because she's got to get through me first. So Jamie Hayter hyping up that main event for tonight. It should be a good one. I'm hoping for some high numbers, please. After this, we return to the ring and we've got Taz out with his son Hook, and just hyped Hook up, saying he may not have won at Full Gear, but he is a star. He is the future of this company, and we are issuing an open challenge. Anyone in the locker room who thinks they can take on Hook, come on out. And the most opposite looking human possible to Hook comes out, and it is Big Bill, all 7 foot? Is he 7 foot? 6'10", something like that. He's a big boy against little old frail looking Hook, who's not frail at all, as we know. So we've got Big Bill taking on Hook in our next match. And in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Hook gets the win. He manages to get Big Bill down to his knees and locks in the red rum, causing Big Bill to tap. Hook with an 85, whoa, and Big Bill with a 44, but a 74 average. So hey, we're in the green. And Hook just continuing this dominance. Despite the loss to Daniel Garcia, he is probably the second best light heavyweight or lightweight we have in the company. Of course, there are other lightweights like MJF, who is still on his sabbatical, and Bryan Danielson, people like that. But we don't really count them, do we? Should we? That might be interesting. Either way, Hook gets a decent win. We stay in the ring now because we've got some women's action, and it is Makito taking on Athena. And in a decent match, Makito gets the win with their Ito Deluxe. And post-match, Tony Storm is ringside. Let's look at the notes. Tony Storm is ringside, just watching on after losing to Makito a few weeks ago. And Makito just points at the TBS title and then points to herself, signaling that she wants a title shot against Tony Storm. So that should be an interesting affair if it happens. But a good win for Makito here, 55 overall, and Athena with a 59. It got the crowd buzzing as well, which is cool, and a 62 rating. Can't go wrong. We're heading backstage where Renee has managed to get hold of Hangman Page just to kind of talk about the whole Jay White PAC thing. And Hangman basically says, look, Renee, as long as they're fighting each other, I don't mind. I'm happy to take a backseat. After all, I am the World Heavyweight Champion. So they need to deal with whatever they're dealing with, and then I will be here ready and waiting. So yeah, very exciting and interesting. The fact that this got an 85 and the storyline is losing heat just shows how incredibly over this storyline must be, especially after the insane match that we had at Full Gear. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to top that anytime soon, but we will have to wait and see. We might top it tonight with Demi Bennett and Jamie Hayter. You never know. Following this, the ring has been invaded by one man and one man alone, Eddie Kingston. He calls out John Moxley again. He says, I can see your Combat Club cronies are here. Where are you? Show yourself. Come on, John. I know you want some. I know that you're not afraid. I know you're not hiding. You have to come out eventually. I'm going to come out week in, week out until you come out and accept my challenge, because it's going to happen. Me and you one-on-one. So, where are you, John? Huh? And of course, there is no response again from John Moxley. Eddie Kingston getting increasingly frustrated by this. So I guess we're going to have to wait another week to see if John Moxley answers Eddie Kingston's call. And now it's time for our main event. Demi Bennett taking on Jamie Hayter, and Britt Baker is ringside with Demi Bennett, as they are an alliance, I'd say. I don't know. Who's your money on? Let's find out. 75. Okay. I think that's our best women's result of the series. I think. It's definitely up there as one of the best, but in a good match. Demi Bennett gets the win in 24 minutes with the Riptide and defeats Jamie Hayter. Hayter with a 73, Bennett with a 71. Great results for both of them. Storyline advances, nice. Jamie Hayter loses. She's rolled out the ring. She's, heading backstage. Demi Bennett celebrates in the ring, arms tall, Britt Baker rolls in, kind of gives her a little pat on the back, holds her arm up when Demi Bennett clotheslines Britt Baker to the ground, just knocks her down in one swoop, chuckles to herself, and then leaves the ring, leaving Britt Baker to nurse her injuries. So it seems like this alliance, whatever it was, is over already. That was quick. So Demi Bennett attacking Britt Baker and leaving her in the ring. And that is how we end our show tonight. Let's see how we did. 78. Oh, just above that 77 that we need. But it still increases our popularity. Love that. Yeah, great show. Again, PAC getting a solid win. Some really, really good matches here. White versus PAC is going to be our main event for next week at Collision. And our main event in Dynamite is also featuring Bullet Club members. It's a three-way between Keith Lee, Chris Bay, and Juice Robinson to decide who CM Punk's partners are going to be at their eventual title match against Takeshita and High Five. Yeah, not much else to say. We didn't have an appearance from the Lucha Brothers or the Golden Lovers this week. Maybe they're both having a little break because, you know, they're very intense when they are here. But that is the end of this one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, do it all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.